Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to the online teaching academy, Ekalaiva. Social Science, P plus resource. So in the previous chapter you have learnt about the quality of population such as education and health. And now we are going to see a new topic. By looking at this picture, you can guess what we are going to learn today, that is unemployment. So, what is this unemployment? Unemployment is said to exist when people are willing to work, can't find jobs. That means the people are actively searching for work but cannot find job. So, that is said to be unemployment. Okay. So, here the workforce of population includes from 15 to 59 years. So, before we go into the concept, we have to understand the different composition of the population. So, let us see, the population is categorized into three ways, that is children, working people or the workforce, and the aged. So, children comes under 1 to 14 years of age and working people are 15 to 59 years and aged means above 59. So, here the workforce population includes the people from 15 to 59 years. Okay, so a person who belongs to this category 15 to 59 years and who cannot find job is fall under the unemployed people, is fall under the unemployment category. We cannot call the children and aged people or the unemployed because the children are too small to be counted in the workforce. And if we take the aged group, already they may got retired after above the 59 years, isn't it? So, we cannot call the children or the aged group as a unemployed person. They are not comes under the unemployment category. So, then who will fall into the unemployment category? The person who belongs to the age group of 15 to 59 years and who cannot find job are called, the person is called as unemployed person. So, in rural area, we have the different type of unemployment and in urban area, we have the different type of unemployment. So, unemployment is prevailed over both in rural and urban areas. In rural areas, the unemployment category is called as seasonal unemployment and disguised unemployment. And in urban area, we have the educated unemployment. So, let us see in detail what all this. Seasonal unemployment. So, seasonal unemployment happens when people are not able to find during some months of the year. So, this happens when the people are dependent on the agricultural activity. So, when people dependent upon the agricultural activity, they may usually face this kind of seasonal unemployment because the people will be busy in certain seasons like sowing, harvesting, threshing and weeding. And once the busy season gets over, they do not find job. So, the seasonal unemployment happens when people are not able to find job during some months of the year. Okay, and now the next one is disguised unemployment. So, in case of disguised unemployment, people appear to be employed. People appear to be employed. Okay, so how it happens? Okay, let's see. Some work requires very few members to do it, but engage more than required. Okay, so here is extra person is called as disguised unemployed person. Okay, so listen your children. So some work requires the work of only very few people but engage more people than it needs, more people than required. So the extra workers are called as disguised unemployed. So this kind of unemployment happens in the agricultural family. For example, if we take the family which consists of 8 members and they are owning land. So the land, to cultivate the land, only 5 people is enough. The only 5 people are required to cultivate the land, but all the 8 members in the family are working on the field. So how many members are extra here? 3 members, because the land requires only 5 members, isn't it? To cultivate the land, it requires only 5 members, but all the 8 members are working in the farming field, so 3 members are the extra person here. If we remove the 3% from the agricultural field, the production process will not get affected at all, because as I said earlier, it requires only 5 members, but they engage 8 members. If we remove the 3% also, the production process will not affect at all. So the 3 extra person are called the disguised unemployed. Okay, so this disguised unemployment happens generally in the agricultural family. So the seasonal unemployment and disguised unemployment occurs in rural area. And now we are moving on to see the urban case. So in urban area we have educated unemployment, isn't it? So many youths who have passed their matriculation, or those who have passed their postgraduates or the undergraduates, they are not able to find jobs. They are called as educated unemployed. Okay. So we are going to discuss about the problems associated with the unemployment now. Okay. So what are the problems that associate with the unemployment? The first point, the unemployment leads to wastage of manpower resource, because so far we are discussing about the education and the health of the person makes the population as an asset for the economy. But what happens in the case of unemployment? The people who got education, the people who got trained, even though is not able to find job, isn't it? So here the manpower resource leads to waste. So unemployment leads to wastage of the manpower resource. So people who are an asset earlier, now they are turning into a liability. Okay. So now the next one, the unemployment tends to increase the economic overload. So it lead to increase the economic overload. As I discussed about the composition of population, we have 3 categories: the working population, the children, and the aged group, isn't it? An aged group. So here the unemployed people are started to depend on the working population of India. So if we take that, the unemployed people are mostly depend on the working force. For example, if a family having a 5 member and 3 of them are working and they are earning, the other 2 are unemployed. So the income earned by the 3 members have to share among the 5 members. So what happens then? The quality of life of an individual will come down. So the quality of life of an individual will come down, as well as it will affect the society a lot. Okay. So listen your children. So unemployment tend to increase the economic overload, because the unemployed people are started to depend on the working population. So it increase the economic overload. As a result, the quality of life of an individual as well as the society is adversely affected. As the quality of life is affected, there is a general decline in the health status of the particular family. If there is a decline in health status, they may fall in sick often, and they cannot afford to treat them to the hospital, and all these things will come, isn't it? So if there is a general decline in the health status, the parent will withdraw their children from the school also, as they earn very little, they cannot treat well, and they cannot educate their children properly. So they withdraw their children from the school system also. So this is what the problems associated with the unemployment. So listen children, so unemployment leads to wastage of manpower resource. Okay, before the people who are turned up are considered as a liability or the asset, they are considered as a liability now. So the people who considered as an asset, they turned into a liability for the country. And also this unemployment tends to increase the economic overload, and this economic overload reduce the health status of the person, and automatically they will also withdraw their children from the school system. So if we take India, in India the unemployment rate is too low compared to the other countries of the world. So in case of India, the unemployment rate is too low compared to the other countries in India. How? Because in India, people appear to work throughout the year. So people appear to work throughout the year, but in terms of their potential and income, it is not adequate for them. So why the unemployment category is too low in India? Because large number of people are represented in the low income and low productivity of jobs. Okay, so here the people are appear to be employed throughout the year, but in terms of their potential, in terms of their income, they are not adequate. Okay, so for example, if we take a person, and a person who is eligible to become a teacher, but he couldn't find any job in the teaching sector, so that he can't able to sit idle at home for a long, isn't it? If we sit at home for a long, his family situation may become worse and worse, isn't it? So the person who is eligible to become a teacher decided to work any kind of job which is available in front of him. So he may desire to work as a mechanic or the pizza delivery boy, or even he can engage himself in some other unorganized sectors. So even though he earns, it is not adequate in terms of his potential, isn't it? So when the family started to live on the bare subsistence level, it leads to the decline in the health status, and of course it will affect the school pattern of the children also. The parents withdraw the children from the school. So the unemployment is a big issue that threatened all over the world. Okay. So now we are going to move on to look at the employment scenario in all the three sectors which we discussed earlier. So what are the three types of economic activities? That is primary activities, secondary and tertiary activities. And now we are going to discuss about the employment scenario. So in the initial years, if we take agriculture, the agriculture, it is a most labor absorbing sector, because as we know that more than record people are employed in agricultural activity. So that is why the agriculture is considered as the most labor absorbing sector. But the trend has been changed. There is a decline in the dependence of population on the agriculture sector. So there is a decline in the ratio of the people who depend on the agriculture sector. So the disguised unemployed people are started to move towards the secondary and also in the tertiary sectors. As a result of that, there is a decline in the dependent on the agriculture sector. Okay, so the people slowly started to take employment opportunities in the secondary. Secondary sector includes manufacturing of goods, isn't it? So, and then the new services are emerged in the tertiary sectors like biotechnology and information technology have emerged in a large way, so that the people started to engage in tertiary sector now. So, there is a shift taken place from agriculture to secondary and secondary to the tertiary sector at present. So, up to this topic, we are going to conclude this lesson. Okay. So, today in this chapter, throughout this chapter, you have seen about how the inputs like education and the health helped in making the people as an asset for the economy. And also you have learnt about the different economic activities which we have seen earlier. And we also discussed about the unemployment and problems associated with unemployment. So, that's all for today's class, children. See you in the another session, children. Thank you. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha.